Hey guys, it's Carrie here, and I'm back with a chill draw with me to help you relax and unwind, get into the drawing mode. I've been watching a lot of these myself recently, and they really get me into the mood of drawing, and it forces me to slow down a lot. For this piece, I decided to draw a very cute random girl to fit a witchy vibe because I was feeling it. I also really wanted to draw something in my comfort zone, so that's typically 3.5-quarter anime girls. Normally I would stress so much about that, meaning that I hate being in my comfort zone for too long, but these past few weeks I spent a lot of time working, doing a lot of fan arts for this anime conventions, and I felt like my hands was just printing and it wasn't very fun. So I decided to just let myself unwind. Even though I am drawing in my comfort zone, I think that's okay. I don't need to overthink it as much. And I'm really happy I did this piece because I slowed down. I did some of this in real time, but it did speed up some of the process. It's not too long. So we're just gonna unwind and draw. It feels so nice to just, oh man, the tablet I'm using right now is the Vike, and I know I put some really ugly tape on it, but to me it looks cute. I could have done a much better job and get the tape to cover much better, but yeah, I really wanted to make my tablet cute, and I am using Paint Studio to draw this. It's my go-to drawing program on desktop, and the remote that you guys see me using right now is called the Toolbox. I also reviewed it on my channel. I'll put it in the pop-up card in the description. I love using this thing for Paint Studio. It helps me flip my canvas really nice, because one thing I struggle with when I'm drawing is getting things to look symmetrical, so I'm making a habit of flipping the drawing as I go and fixing the mistakes along there. But yeah, about the leaving the comfort zone, I was trying so hard the past few weeks to draw things that had dynamic pose, dynamic lighting. As you guys may know, I was an animation student. I recently quit school because I moved, and it's really hard for me to take the classes, as well as the cost of living is going up. I went more into that in a Q&A video, but that means this is the self-study route, and I wanted to take a break before I jump right into self-study, but in my mind I keep thinking, oh, I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta do better. Everything I need to do needs to be a learning experience, and that is nerve-wracking because a part of drawing is having fun, and just because that you're drawing something in your comfort zone doesn't mean that there's no learning experience there. It's not like I've mastered the 3.5-quarter anime girls. Well, at least that's what I tell myself, since I tend to overthink drawing a lot, which ends up not making it super fun. So for this one, I'm like, it's okay. I like drawing pretty girls. I live through drawing pretty girls. I love, even if it's the same Pinterest and the same repetitiveness, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think personally for me, I don't know if you guys can relate, we can be such harsh critics to ourselves, especially when we're trying to improve our art. I feel like my art has been stuck for so long. I didn't know how to tackle it. I'm still like working through those issues, but I'm trying not to make it like the whole focus of every time I open up my sketchbook or a drawing program. So for this one, I decided to do something in the spirit of the fall season, a little bit witchy, leaves, a little bit of pumpkin, even though there's like no orange in this piece. I decided to go with things that are a bit more in my aesthetic. As you guys can see, my setup with a lot of the purples. Oh man, once we get to the coloring phase, I love using purple undertones for everything. But yeah, I do not do line art. As you guys can see, that's why I like with my sketches, I don't let myself be really loose with my sketches. I think that's also another issue But with drawing like this that I'm very familiar with, I don't think I need as much into the sketching process. I love going right into the face, do a very, very loose sketch of the hair, and just jump right into it. I love making my canvas a little bit darker so I can put down the base color. Like, it's the most satisfying feeling. But because I do not have like clean line art, I can't just like drop a color picker or the bucket tool on it like a lot of people do. So I sped up this part a little bit because and that's one of the more annoying parts of drawing for me, is filling in the colors, especially since I hate doing line art, so I have to go in manually and do that. I know there are some tools in Clip Paint Studio that can still fill up my lines for me, but I haven't had the best experience with those because of the way I draw. And this one, as you guys can tell, is gonna be a little bit more of a chatty, chill draw with me. It's like listening to your art friend that goes on and on for a long time, but in a bit more chill way. I'm in a very chill mood this Sunday morning. If you guys watching this in the future, I'm hoping that you're having a relaxing time, maybe taking 30 minutes out of your day to draw. I know as we get older, it gets a little bit harder to find that 30-minute spot to draw. This piece did not take me 30 minutes, it took me 2 hours, so don't stress if after this 30-minute session and you still haven't gone past the sketching phase. That's totally fine. This is a relaxing session where we're taking things slow. And for the hair, I didn't really know what I was doing. I really wanted her to have super curly hair, but when I went into the shading mode, I didn't go as hard as I wanted to, but I think that's fine. Yeah. Let me just take a breather. This is a new style of video for me. I'm used to the super fast pace, like speed paint, or if I'm doing like a tablet review video, something that are a little bit more topical where I'm trying something, but this time no, I'm just drawing and I find it really hard to relax. Right here I'm slowing things down a little bit. I'm trying to show you guys how I start shading the base colors in real time because it's my favorite part of drawing. It's my favorite part. I love shading. I spent a lot more time rendering this piece and going back in and cleaning up my lines, but this is the most fun part. Yeah, I feel super awkward. I don't have a lot of words to describe my art right now. I just wanted to draw pretty girls because it makes me happy. I think I struggle a lot with doing a lot of varied expressions with my art, but I'm trying to calm down those feelings and let myself be. It's okay if I just like to draw pretty girls that just have very solemn smile. They're not like too over the top, even though sometimes I do want to get out of that comfort zone and draw a little bit more expressive characters. But yeah, the brush I'm using this watercolor brush that has a little bit of a hard edge. I pretty much use it for everything. I don't have a dedicated hairbrush. I should have a dedicated hairbrush, but I didn't give myself a lot of time to experiment. Once I find something that works, I kind of stick to it. Normally, when I was much younger, in my late teens, I used to love experimenting with new software, with new brushes all the time. Now that I'm a little bit more older, I'm lazy. I find it so much more convenient to use something that works. Like, if it's not broken, why try to fix it? But I feel like I'm missing out a lot by not trying out new brushes. There are some processes I feel like could go out about much better if I didn't have to replicate it myself. Yeah. And normally with my processes for this, I normally do like a hard edge shading, and then I go in with the airbrush tool and I add in the blushes, and then that gets me an overall idea of the face. And then I go into the hair. I kind of move around a lot. with my piece. And I love shading lips. This time I'm really happy I kind of measured the proportions much better, because normally I do more super anime type of face where I do not have enough space to shade in the lips. And I hate when I do that, because like the lips is so fun because there's so many different things you can try. Sometimes you can make it like super soft by like blurring all the edges. And this is the satisfying part, I mean, where I add in the airbrush. A lot of the beginning render time or render part of this piece, I'm letting it show in real time, since I find it super satisfying. It's my favorite fun part, because like once I put in all the colors in, it feels like an upgraded coloring book, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I keep flipping my drawing a lot, and even at this stage of the drawing, I still find things that look awkward. And the thing is, I'm not a painterly style. Well, let me rephrase that. I love the painterly look, but I actually draw everything in a bunch of separate layers. So when it comes to fixing my work, it takes a lot more work compared to if I just had it all in like 1 or 2 layers. But thankfully my friend showed me a shortcut that helps me select my layers, because I normally go back to my sketch layer and I just add a little bit more lines and thickness, especially since one of the eyes does look droopy. I did try to tackle that throughout this process. I can't say if I completely fixed it or not, but that's one way I go about it, since having all these layers, man, without that find the layer button, it would take me so long to find all my layers. I think maybe that's why people do liner. It gives them a chance to fix all that. But coloring is my favorite part of the process. I like having the base colors first and then go back to the sketch and clean it up if I need to. You guys will see many times in this drawing I switch up my mind a lot. I didn't know what to do, especially with the hair. Hair is always the trickiest part. It can be super fun too, but I feel like it's just like with curly hair in real life. You don't know. It's always like a new challenge styling it every day. Like, am I gonna have it up? Am I gonna have it down? How many gel do I need? Do I need to wrap it up the night before? Do I need to braid it if I wanted to come out with a certain girl? So yeah, I wanted to ask, what is you guys' favorite comfort thing to draw when you don't know what to draw? Because for me, I've defaulted to pretty girls, pretty Pinterest type of girls, even though I'm not always looking at our references when I'm drawing these type of things. I'm just so used to doodling eyes and faces on the side of my sketchbook. It becomes a default for my brain. And here I'm getting to the hair. That's the tricky part. I started to shade it as if it was like super straight hair, and then I went back in, but then I realized there's a little bit of volume. It was hard for me to see what I was going for. I don't think I went with a more kinky type of curl for the hair pattern this time, since it was the way I drew it. Maybe this is why I shouldn't sketch out the hair. Maybe I should just do that in the coloring phase, because I could have just easily switched it up. But then I drew accessories with it, so it was a lot of going back and forth. But it was fun to experiment. I ended up just going with this style. It gives me a little bit of a Kerry Washington type of look. I love her in a lot of her TV show. I forgot the main one that she's in. Scandal. Yeah, Scandal. If you guys haven't seen Scandal, I haven't fully watched the thing, but I love anything Kerry Washington's in. I need to finish it actually. But yeah, hair is always a little bit more challenging. I feel like with certain hairstyles, it's a little bit easier for me compared to others. And one thing I've been experimenting with the semi-realistic style is the eyelashes. I think that grading eyelashes worked really well for this style. I wish I could do it much more. And I wonder how can you do that on your actual eyes, because another reason I love to draw pretty girls a lot of the time as my comfort, like secondhand drawing, is I really love a lot of really, let me rephrase that. It's because I love a lot of the makeup looks I be seeing on Instagram, and I want to try those on myself, but I wear glasses. I can't really see without my glasses on, and I'm not as talented with like a makeup brush compared to paintbrush, which is my drawing tools. So it gives me a chance to really explore a lot of looks that I would want to try on myself. So in a way, I'm like vicariously living through my drawings, and it gives me a chance to explore different color schemes. Halfway through this drawing, you guys will see I will change up the hair color. I went for more like pastel vibe with the hair, you guys will see. And the point I'm trying to like tie this back in is that there's a certain style that I don't really see done on black girls, especially with the pastel alternative style. So I've been trying more to draw those in my own drawing, experiment, see what works. Because another thing I really like about the semi-realistic style mixed with the anime is that I can have thick eyebrows. With the anime style, a lot of the eyebrows is usually really thin. It works for a lot of time to give it a much cuter look, but I find that the thick eyebrows really work to giving in that same look as well, and they're just much nicer to draw because I want to do the highlight underneath them. I can like play with the eyeshadow. In this part, I'm playing a little bit with the highlights of the hair. At this point of this drawing, I could have been done and just done the eyes, but I went back in and I wanted to render it a little bit more, since there's some parts of the hair that wasn't completely well. And another thing that I did try with this is I tried making the bangs or the hair around the face a little bit lighter, and on the bottom playing with some reflective lighting, which is something I don't normally do with this semi-realism style. I normally stick those elements for my more anime art style, even though I still consider this anime, but since the way I shape the nose, the lips, the thicker brows, the more realistic shading in the hair, I considered this more semi-realism. So it was really nice to play with a lot of the elements that I would normally do with my more anime style and add it onto that, because I ended up really liking it a lot. And this was really fun for me. And even though initially I was like worried that, oh, I'm just drawing the same face again, this my comfort zone, I ended up trying and experimenting with different things that adds a new twist to my own comfort style of drawing. And normally drawing the same thing would be considered as a style, I believe, but I struggle with having a style. I know a lot of people have that issue too, I believe, like finding your style. It's your style. I struggle to define like what is the thing that I consistently do versus what is the thing I only do because I'm too lazy to draw anything else. I'm not sure if I'm conveying that well. There's like a different, it's like I feel like I'm saying that 3.5-quarter anime girls are my style, even though that's just one way of drawing something. That's not a true indication of having a style. A style is, I feel like, a little bit more specific in what you do. So that's why with this I've been trying to experiment a little bit more. You guys can see I was playing in my toolbox again because this drawing took several days. But yeah, I was experimenting with different things to see what my style would be. What do I like? What do I like doing? What I don't like doing? I really like the eyes. Eyes is one thing I can be consistent in. So maybe colors. I love sticking to a very cool color palette, like shading with purples, especially with the hair, and adding reflective color in the skin. and this is the paint color I decided to go with. It didn't look true pink, so I had to go back into my shading layers and like try to find the right color to shade with, because I wanted to have a pink undertone, but I don't know why I shaded with purple. I should have shaded with more of a pinkish tone, but then I didn't want it to be like bright red, so maybe it depending on the shade of the colors. So that's also why I really love the color history panel in Clip Paint Studio, because when I get to play around, I get to go back and see what color I used. And another feature in Clip Paint Studio I really love using again, not again since I didn't mention that before, it's just I get really flustered when talking, so there's some words I say a lot more. But one feature in Clip Paint Studio that I've recently learned I've been enjoying is this color picker that lets you pick colors outside of your screen. So a lot of the times I was picking colors without having to import the picture in Clip Paint Studio, which is so fantastic. With that and exactly how to do that, I'm gonna do a whole separate short video on that, 60-second YouTube shorts, but it was super useful for this. I was just color picking a lot of things from my wallpaper, background, anything I'd see online. It was just such a fun experience, because normally I don't experiment that much with colors. In terms of like color picking, I normally just go slide down the color wheel. I don't know the best way to explain this, but I normally play with different hues per se. I'm not sure if I'm using the right word, but in short, I normally just experiment with colors that I pick myself. If I'm just playing around with the color wheel compared to like color picking from different stuff, because normally when I color pick from things, they never really match the colors of my own drawing, so having to readjust it has been a pain. But because of this feature, it helps me pick absurd colors so I can highlight with. As you guys can see in the hair, I added a lot of different colors. I added a couple of greens and purples, still a lot in the cool color palette, but in my experience I normally like stick to like shades of that color. So I even added those greens into the brown part of the hair, the other part, and I felt like it made it come to life, and it made it super fun. So I was just having a blast. And the stickers you guys see, my tablet is actually stickers of my own art that I will have in my online store pretty soon. I've been working so hard on my shop reopening, and I think I'll be able to have it towards the end of this month at shop.carritube.com. Since I was indecisive of where the stickers was gonna be, I decided to just use painter's tape so that I can easily move it, because I didn't know where I wanted the two stickers to be. And yeah, I'm going for a little tangent about my stickers, but I do support rendering on the hair, and like this was so nice. I was having fun for the first time in a while with my art. I don't know if that's a thing I say here constantly, but I normally have like a lot of pressure and expectations of myself when it comes to art. I don't let myself explore as much since I have a lot of fear of failing. I don't even know where those stems from, because that's how you learn with art. You're gonna try things and they're not gonna work out. They're not gonna look like the way you want it to, but you just gotta keep trying at it. But as an adult, and especially now that art has become part of my career, the main thing that goes through my head is like, will this sell? Will this do well in the YouTube algorithm or the other social media algorithm? I think there's a lot more pressure now for each thing that I draw to be a banger, and that's not always the case. And I struggle with making art for myself versus art that I need to sell or promote in some type of way, and having to strike a balance with that. So it gives me a lot more anxiety and fear when I draw. So this was one of the times where I try to push those anxieties away and draw something that my mind was telling me not to. My mom was telling me, oh, I need to draw something more dynamic. I need to do something with the hands. I need to do something with the body. But I'm like, no, I'm putting myself through that stress. I love drawing face, so I'm just gonna do 3.5 quarter anime girl. I know I've been repeating that so much in this video, but it was really important for me to be okay with just doing the same thing over and over again, because in some way that's how you get better. And I must say this is one of the better portraits that I've done in a long time, because I guess not portraits, because portrait meaning that it's a picture of someone. This is one of the better, I guess portrait also can mean like a drawing of people. Okay, this is one of the better anime girls. Well, I guess not anime. This is one of the better drawings I've done recently. Here we go again. Overthinking everything and taking all the joy out of it. I'm trying to ease away that and have fun with things a lot more, because when I do have fun with things, I end up exploring so many different elements, and I end up sometimes surprising myself. There's some times where I do draw and the drawing does not come out good and I do not share it. So there's some things I just don't share, but I always draw things with the intention to film it, because I'm like, everything is content. It's like this TikTok song, don't forget to share it. But that's part of the song. I keep cutting myself up, but yeah, there's like this whole pressure where like, does this drawing even exist if I didn't record it? Which I find really silly, since growing up I didn't have a lot of the abilities to film my drawing, and now that I do, I feel like I need to share every aspect of the way. But that wasn't the point I was trying to make with this. It's just more the pressure that I put on myself when it comes to drawing, and me trying to delve in of some of the potential reasons why they haven't been fun. And now we're on the background stages of this drawing, and I ended up just using a lot of the assets in Clip Paint Studio, and I'm really happy about how much the asset stores has grown over the year, the Clip Paint Studio asset store specifically, because there's just so many things that are like much easier to create. And I felt like it helped make it into a more aesthetic piece per se. So it was nice. My bad, I wish I got more ASMR sounds, but I was drawing this over the course of multiple days, and it would be a little bit of a hindrance trying to get every scratching sounds, but I try to have a balance, at least when it came to filming this, or the filming aspect wouldn't get in the way of it too much. I was just mostly watching a lot of YouTube videos, playing anime music. I was sharing some of it on my story for Instagram, but I didn't overshare it to the point where like I forget that I had to finish the rest of the drawing. Because one thing I struggle with is that sometimes when I share whips on social media, I share it with the goal of getting that instant gratification, and sometimes when I do get that instant gratification online with my art, I end up like not finishing it or like pushing my full potential, or the worst happens where I don't get the type of validation that I want. I start feeling bad about the piece of work, and I'm trying to like remove those expectations from my art, whether it does well on an Instagram post or social media post doesn't take my own personal enjoyment from it. And yeah, here's some more satisfying swashes. I hope that this was satisfying. We're closing in on our half-an-hour timer with this piece, and I hope you made progress with your piece. I love to know down below what you were working on and if you relate to any of these struggles I mentioned. And if it's still Sunday for you, I hope you have a wonderful, also Sunday evening. If not, enjoy the rest of your day or night. And I'll catch you guys in my next one. And I hope this one was relaxing for you guys. And thanks for keeping me company while I drew this. So I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.